Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you fondly back to Dragon Age Origins. As you can plainly see, we now have a dog in our group. Off screen, I did go back through the whole Ostagar and Lothering thing just to make sure that I rescued the poor Doge. And I've named him Romulus because I'm a pretentious little shit who has a vague knowledge of Roman myth and history, and so I didn't really know what else to name him, to be honest.
Oh, why, you little...
You just jump at the sight of your own shadow again.
Oh, you're so funny. Such rapier wit. Your furry friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me. Look.
Well, he is a war dog.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Damn right it will. So, there's a lot to go through with the dogs. I should sit a little further away from the mic. There's a lot to go through with the dogs' interactions here, if you were so inclined. I think you can basically go through them all at once until you get a new character in your party, and then something new will happen.
I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Don't scare the poor dog. If you had it and you didn't know, it was probably tasty. Which means Alistair would be too. Alright, so I'm not going to go through them all now. And anytime we stop in the camp, I'll run through a couple more. But just to clarify what we've been through, or what I did off screen, I did everything the same. I did all the dialogues the same. What the hell is Alistair doing? As you can see, I gave Alistair the lightning sword instead. I'm not sure why he's sitting down.
What do you need?
And, yeah, so I gave him a new sword, attached a lightning rune to it. Sten has a maul instead of the great sword. And, they all have armor that I neglected to give them before. And, apart from that, someone did tell me that I had, missed one of the Blackstone Irregular people in Lothering, so I took care of that. And all this should be, it should be in some, little clips I'm gonna throw in the beginning here. And, beyond the Blackstone Irregular guy, I also did run into a bit more dialogue from the Soldier's Peak fellow, who helped clarify a bit more about what happened to the Grey Wardens and why they were exiled, so long ago.
People say it's because the Wardens have become terribly unpopular. Just soaking up tires and not doing a bleeding thing for the kingdom. I say that's bollocks, as recent events have shown. Marek was a bit of a visionary. A powerful mind, that one. In his travels with the Wardens, he must have seen how important their cause was, and been moved by it. There was some talk at court that he did it to improve relations with Orzammar. That might have factored into it. But make no mistake, King Marek was a giant among men.
Turns out, essentially, they were just freeloaders. Because there hadn't been a blight in a while, no darkspawn threat, the Grey Wardens were just kind of sitting around. They're getting, funds from the crown and being paid to do nothing, basically, and so that made them unpopular with a lot of people, and I'm sure it went beyond that, but that was part of the problem. And, did I take care of anything else? I can't really remember. I don't really know, but the dog is an interesting character. He doesn't get normal equipment, but you can give him collars, which I think act as jewelry, basically, and you can also add war paint, which I don't really have any. I forget what the Ash Warrior called it, but yeah, basically, you give him war paint, and that can add other buffs and perks as well. but he can't equip any weapons or any normal equipment. And he acts kind of in a support role. He is, of course, a melee character, but he also has some party buffs. Or not really buffs, but more like debuffs and sort of negative effects for other enemies. And apart from that, he also has a... I found out what the landmark tree was all about. Turns out, if you control your dog and have him use the tree, he will mark it in the ways that dogs mark things. And that will add a perk to the dog, and I think to your party, or at least your player character. It will add a buff to you when you're in the area that you did that. So, had we had the dog and had him mark the tree in Lothering, we could have done the quests a bit more easily because we would have had a buff to go along with it. So now we have to go through... I'm having too many save games here now. Now we have to go through that fight again, that little ambush. But there is something I wanted to check out. I'm not really going to have the dog for now.
Yes.
We're going to have Sten, Alistair, and Morrigan. And I said I was going to Redcliffe before, but I've decided against that because I think that's actually... There's a part there that I remember. It's a huge, invasion segment, and it's very hard to pull off perfectly when you're so low level. So I think I'm going to do some other things first. We could go to Denerim, but there's not really much we can do there. So I think I'm just going to take down the Circle Tower first, because that is the most aggravating of all these quests. Interestingly, we didn't get attacked there. So I guess... You know what? I thought... Oh, jeez, that scared me. I thought that what happened was when you left the camp, there were triggered encounters that were based on how much progress you had made, but apparently it's actually just it all depends on what locations you're going to and what route the party takes to get there. So it's actually based on the location of the ambush, not the point in the game you're at. Now this guy, he's our only way into the tower, but we can't really do anything with him. Actually, I think we can do something with him now. These guys here are actually part of the second Blackstone Irregular quest, the Dereliction of Duty. And so these guys are going to fight with us, so we have to be ready for that.
Yes?
I'm here on behalf of the Blackstone Irregulars.
Oh? What was this about?
I hear you stole supplies from the guild.
How sad it is to see a Grey Warden manipulated. But I have no time to straighten this out for you. Men, let's teach the Grey Warden a lesson about trust.
Oh, isn't that funny coming from you? And Morrigan, I'm gonna need you to do this. Boom. Flurry is good. I like flurries. And I gave Sten them all because I think it's better against armor, so... Sten should take down that guy. Alistair, I want you to take on this guy. Go ahead and just bash the fool. Take on that. I need you to go back here. Oh, apparently he's following me instead. Oh, wow! That was brilliant. Go ahead and take that guy down. You get behind him. Sten, I told you to take that fool down. Go on. Oh. There we go. The hell did you just say?
They'll never know what hit him.
Alright, well that's that. Samuel, the ass fucker. Now we've got the guild supplies. So we have to find a deposit box for the Blackstone Irregulars so we can return those. Otherwise, we can just hold on to them. I don't think they take up any room in your inventory because they're a quest item. So I don't think I have to worry about that. Oh, here's the Mages Collective. Forgot about these guys.
You're the Grey Warden, aren't you? Exactly who I was hoping to meet. I represent a collective of mages interested in going about their lives without the constant scrutiny of the Chantry.
Isn't that against the Chantry's laws?
We harm no one, I assure you, and we enforce the Chantry's laws among ourselves. All we seek is a life outside of the Templar's shadow. Next to me, and in every major settlement, you will find an inconspicuous sack containing requests from mages all over the land who need the assistance of someone skillful and discreet.
Give me a reason not to turn you into the Templars.
Me? I am not a mage, my friend. And those members who have submitted requests are anonymous, save one or two more arrogant clients. I assure you, we are doing the Maker's work. Magic is not ruling man under our watch.
You can say that, but there's no reason I should have to trust you. Now, of course, this is one of those many circumstances in RPGs like this where even if this is something that's under the table and technically against the law, there's nothing to really prevent an otherwise honest character that you're trying to play as from doing these kind of quests. There's no punishment, there's no drawback for it, so it always just... it's kind of one of those weird just circumstances where you're never in the wrong for being in this sort of weird gray area. And it's one thing I always wish that these games would handle a bit better. For example, in Skyrim, you can be a member of every single guild from the Imperial Legion to the Dark Brotherhood. And same thing in Morrowind. You could have been in the Temple, which is the, holy, just group to be, and you could also be in the Imperial Legion, or you could be in the Morag Tong, who are a guild of assassins. And you could do both of those. So, and what else? In Gothic 2, you could be a fire mage, who's a representative of the highest law and order, and you could also be a member of the Thieves Guild. And things like that just don't make sense. But there's nothing in these games to really stop you from being, a sort of, I don't know what the word is, just from doing contradictory actions and being part of conflicting interests. I just wish that games would handle that a bit better. Anyway, just for the sake of this walkthrough, we're not going to worry about that. I'll take a look at these requests.
Thank you, my friend. We have agents in every major settlement to reward you for work done on behalf of the collective. Makers smile upon you.
Sure. Now, where's your inconspicuous sack? There it is. Wow, that's a lot of them. Places of power. My power is waning. I, Krebulash the Epithet, require a reconnection to the mystic places I have left behind. You shall travel to these places and trace upon them my personal glyphs, claiming their eldritch powers for my own. You will come upon sites of mystic power in the ancient places of the world, Brazilian Forest, Deep Roads, Heart of Denerim, and near the base of the Circle Tower. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. That sounds like we're working for your benefit, to make you more powerful. And I don't see how that serves the interests of the Maker and, just keeping keeping unrestrained magic in check. Whatever, we'll do it anyway. Careless accusations. Activities of the Maleficarum on my doorstep did not go unnoticed, and now I'm in danger of being brought before the Templars myself. A small band of drifters claim they have seen me practicing forbidden arts, and they have left to deliver testimony of my alleged deeds to the Chantry. I ask the Mages Collective to find and stop these false witnesses by any means necessary. So you're telling me to trust you and go kill witnesses for you. I don't really see any reason to trust you either. But we'll take a look anyway. There comes a time in each young mage's life they must strike forth from beneath the shadow of his mentor. For my three young and unremarkable apprentices, the time is now. He accepts this calling, takes upon himself to deliver documents of congratulations to my apprentices, will no doubt be uninformed as to the contents of the missive, Their names are Stark, Alina, and Sheth. I cleverly sent them away from my abode so that they may receive this info in a public place, guaranteeing the safety of my willing courier. And be sensitive. I would not wish harm upon their delicate feelings. So, he's letting his apprentices go in not very eloquent fashion. Thy brother's killer. A band of devilish maleficarum are performing their profane rituals within close proximity to my own sanctum. This I cannot stand. I, Jubasto, charge he who accepts this request to destroy the fiends before their evil brings unwanted attention from either Templars or demons to my back door. Travel to the Brazilian forest and slay these blasphemers. Well, that sounds pretty cut and dry there. Disaster. So consumed have I been in my personal projects that I have neglected to collect vital components of the herbal remedy I use to sharpen my mind for the thoughts of the other world. Without it I am ruined. Ruined! I will humbly reward any who bring me 10 bundles of deep mushrooms. With this, I can continue on my quest for enlightenment, with a clear mind and fewer bouts with drowsiness and indigestion. May he who accepts this request be showered in riches and love from the Maker's heart for this noble and selfless act. This is literally my salvation. Alright, well, we'll help that guy's gastric distress. One of the things I forgot to mention also was that I have actually acquired this knife here called the Thorn of the Dead Gods. And it's a pretty neat weapon, and it's also a very special weapon. One of those that actually has its unique codex entry. It's got a backstory to it. So it's pretty cool. We had a shield, but I think I've already sold it because it wasn't very good. Either that or I gave it to Alistair. Nah, I sold it. Wasn't a very good shield, but it was another one of those with a special history to it. Kester, who are you?
Wow, I've never seen one of you knife-ears dressed like the King of Ferelden before. You made good for yourself, eh?
Excuse me?
Oh, I don't mean no offense. I know I shoot my mouth off. I'm just not used to your kind, trussed up all fancy.
Mean you're used to seeing us as slaves or servants?
Oh, there I go again. I don't mean nothing by it. I swear I should start over.
Please do.
I'm mighty pleased to be making your acquaintance, miss.
So who are you? I'll just pretend he's not mocking me.
Leastwise, I used to be. Poor old Kester. Out of a job.
Why?
I don't got a clue. They wouldn't tell me. Gregor just came down and said, "Don't you worry, Kester, we got it all under control, we do." Didn't say nothing else. And then he puts Carol in charge of my boat. Lissy, named for my grandmum she was.
Who's Gregoire?
He's Knight Commander of the Templars up in the tower. Good man.
So is something wrong up at the tower?
I told you, they didn't tell me nothing. And if I know they're mages, I'm better off keeping out of their business. If I had to guess, I'd guess it had to do with magic, but the tower's always got something to do with magic.
You don't say. So is there no way to get across?
You could try swimming, but I don't recommend it. Nasty things in that lake. I reckon it's all them potions they dump in there.
Yes.
Told me to
Toxic
stay here
refuse.
till it blows over, but I'm telling you, some storms don't blow over easy.
Oh, you're telling me. We've just sat through 2 blizzards here at home. We've got a 3rd one on the way. What a... Could convince the Templars to let me in.
Maybe you could at that. I'm sure your mind's all afire now, eh?
What are your opinions on the Circle?
I reckon it's good for them mages. Gather them all, learn them some proper magics. I know what they say about mages, but the Maker made them for a purpose. If you can't trust him, who can you trust?
So you know the Knight Commander Gregoire well.
Oh, I can't say that. I'm lucky he's good enough to give me the time of day. The first enchanter's all right. He's polite as can be, but he's always a little distant, if you get my drift. But Gregor'll stay to talk. I reckon he likes hearing from us common folk, you know? He's a man to be respected, that Gregor.
If you say so.
All right. Keep safe, you hear?
I'll do my beast. Let's see what's going on up in here. Oh, there's a deep mushroom.
This should be easy enough.
2 deep mushrooms. I don't know how many of those we need for the Mages Collective. 10 bundles of deep mushrooms. How do you... How do you bundle them? Is it actually 10 bundles, or is it just 10 deep mushrooms? No, that's not crafting. We got 8 of them, so I guess I'll just hang on to them. And if there's 10, we'll bring them here. And see what comes of it. Disgruntled patron.
Ha! Water down ale, damp beds, rickety stools. Why do I even bother?
Beats me. Maybe we should leave. Yoink. Ooh, a love letter. Correspondence interruptus. Tell me more. It doesn't seem to be a quest. Or are it? Nope. Okay, is there a need for this? I don't know if there's anything I can do with that. Hello, barkeep.
Good day, and welcome to the Spoiled Princess. Is there something I can get for you?
Why is it called the Spoiled Princess?
It was my father's idea. He ran the inn before me, and he named it for my sister. She was his little princess. Princess decided the country was too dull for her and moved to Denerim. More glamorous, she said. Well, she was found murdered, robbed of all the trinkets my father bought her with his hard-earned money. My father died of shock and heartbreak. Mother stopped eating, and I got the struggling in. The name stuck. That's the story.
Poor you. The one who makes it out the best from this whole ordeal is obviously the one who should be complaining. I'd like a drink.
Of course. What would you like?
And he's... he doesn't have a single drink, I don't think. Ah, here it is. Candace. That's what it was. That's the war paint for the Mabari. And I also did end up buying the backpack from Bodon. Probably shouldn't have, because that thing was expensive as all hail. I don't need any of these. Keeping the Blood Dragon plate. How much strength does Sten have? Because I haven't leveled him up at all. It's 28, so he needs 10 more if we're going to give him the plate. Shady patron? What's so shady about you?
What are you looking at? Can a man drink in peace?
Absolutely not allowed.
Good day.
Good day. Alright, well, so much for this inn. It's a piece of shit. Let's get ourselves out of here. Alrighty then. Landmark boat. Oh. The good thing about this game is that you can actually change your party in the middle of it. Vashten. So, we could have actually gotten the Doge to pee on this earlier. And then we would have been better off for that fight. And if you do check the codex, you can see what exactly the Mabari dominance does. But unfortunately, I can't remember where it is. Took me forever to find it last time. Under controls? No. Under quest related? No. Creatures? Yes. The primary method of determining that order is once established, dominant Mabari gains a substantial increase in confidence and stature with his territory, trait that indirectly benefits Master as well as Hound. It doesn't tell you exactly what it does. I don't know if it's a health bonus, if it's a strength bonus, or anything like that, but that's something I'll have to look into. Now, what I like about this, apart from the fact that the draw distance just kind of ends, and you can't really see the other shore, just because it just cuts off there, which is kind of annoying. But one thing I do like about this is that it actually reflects lakes in a realistic manner. Because most of the time when you see a lake in a video game, they'll call it a lake, and it's just this puny little thing. Like, it would go from, like, that rock to that end of the bridge, and that was it. And, like, yeah, most games just don't have realistic proportions for cities, lakes, or really any kind of landmarks. And it just kind of always irritated me. And you don't really see too often in games that things like lakes and cities are actually a realistic size. I don't intend on bringing Dog in here with me.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing about the whole Circle Tower quest, and what ends up being the Fade segment of the quest, is that parts of it change depending on who's in your party when you go in there. So, on one hand, the Fade sucks, and is the worst part of this game, but on the other hand, if you go in there multiple times with a different party each time, it can be a little bit interesting. Anyway, let's have a chat with this fool, Carol.
You're not looking to get across to the tower, are you? Because I have strict orders not to let anyone pass.
You do say. I'm a Grey Warden, and I seek the assistance of the mages.
Oh, you're a Grey Warden, are you? Prove it.
I have these documents here.
Yes. Oh, a Grey Warden seal. Aha! So you're claiming to be one of those. You know, I have some documents too. They say I'm the Queen of Antiva. What do you think of that?
My documents actually exist.
Kill some darkspawn. Come on, let's see some righteous Grey Wardening.
How about you bring him here? There aren't any darkspawn here.
No, that's good, I suppose. Wouldn't want darkspawn smeared across the landscape. I hear their blood is black. Is that true? You'd know if you were a Grey Warden.
It's not black, but it burns when you touch it.
Oh, pleasant, eh? Good thing I don't have to kill them, then. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you. Now, on your way, right now, go.
Can't we work something out?
I don't know. I am feeling a little peckish, though.
You want me to feed you?
Arshera, here. Munch on these if you like.
Oh, cookies!
What?
I am content to part with them if it saves us from this fool.
Where the hell did you get those?
There was a child, a fat, slovenly thing, in the last village we passed. I relieved him of these confections. He didn't need more.
You stole cookies from a child?
For his own good.
Sure it was.
Yummy. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, yes? We can go across now, if you really want.
Well, sounds good to me.
Come along, I suppose.
Seems like a fair deal. Cookies for passage. So later we find out that, in fact, Sten actually does have a bit of a sweet tooth. And that's why he, relieved that child of his confections. Well, seems to be a bit of a hubbub going on here.
Stationed within sight of the doors at all times. Do not open the doors without my express consent. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. The doors are barred. Are they keeping people out or in?
Why not both?
Now we wait and pray.
For what? You're Gregoire, I assume.
Who are you?
I assume.
I explicitly told Carol not to bring anyone across the lake. We're dealing with a very delicate situation. You must leave for your own safety.
Sorry, but cookies talk. The mages have an obligation to the Grey Wardens.
I am weary of the Grey Wardens' ceaseless need for men to fight the Darkspawn, but it is their right. You'll find no allies here. The Templars can spare no men, and the mages are indisposed. I shall speak plainly. The tower is no longer under our control. Abominations and demons stalk the tower's halls.
Well, damn.
This is why we cut the tongues from mages in Parvolan.
I will admit to agreeing with your companion. Maker knows the Kunari would not have gotten themselves into this position.
You don't say. How did this happen?
We don't know. We saw only demons, hunting Templars and mages alike. I realized we could not defeat them and told my men to flee.
I would have done the same.
They took us by surprise. We were prepared for one or two abominations, not the horde that fell upon us.
What's your plan?
I will destroy the tower, raze it to the ground. But I cannot risk more of my men. The doors remain shut, and they will protect us for now.
That's no solution. Doors can be broken.
We do not mean for the doors to stay closed forever. Everything in the tower must be eliminated. I have sent word to Denerim. calling for reinforcements and the right of annulment.
The right of annulment?
The right of annulment gives Templars the authority to neutralize the Mage Circle. Completely.
The mages are probably already dead. Any abominations remaining in there must be dealt with, no matter what.
This situation is dire. There is no alternative. Everything in the tower must be destroyed so it can be made safe again.
Mages are not defenseless. Some must still live.
If any are still alive, the Maker himself has shielded them. No one could have survived those monstrous creatures. It is too painful to hope for survivors and find nothing.
Steel your nerves, man. It was you that shut them all in.
And what was I to do? Leave the door open as the abominations poured out?
He's right. All the circles have doors like these, to prevent abominations from getting loose.
Denram must have received our message. It cannot be much longer.
If I help you deal with the circle, will you lend me aid?
If, by some miracle, you destroy the abominations, yes. The Templars will join your army. Without word from Denram, I must determine our course. Surely destroying Darkspawn is a worthy goal.
We have an agreement, then.
A word of caution. Once you cross that threshold, there is no turning back. The great doors must remain barred. I will open them for no one until I have proof that it is safe. I will only believe it is over if the first enchanter stands before me and tells me it is so. If Irving has fallen, then the circle is lost and must be destroyed. May Andraste lend you her courage, whatever you decide.
Now, there's something here that I just kind of want to ask, since I know I have viewers who know this game better than I do. But what Gregoire says here is that if we succeed in destroying all the abominations, then the Templars will help us. But in any experience I've had, what ends up happening is we rescue Irving, the first enchanter, bring him down here, and then in the final battle we have mages to help us. Maybe it's just that I've always played the dialogue options to do the sort of good result of this, and maybe it is actually possible that you can kill all the mages in the tower, all the surviving ones, and end up with no mages left to help you in the final battle, and in their place you instead get Templars. But if you don't do it that way, and you do in fact manage to rescue some of the mages, you end up instead with the mages helping you out. So if someone can clarify how that works for me, because I've never done it the alternative way, and I've never had the result where I had Templars helping me instead. I was just curious about it. So what was this amulet? +1 willpower. Anyone not have an amulet here? You don't. So I guess you can have that, and it will give you a bit more stamina, I think. Quartermaster.
I wish this were over. We're running low on supplies, and I don't know how much longer we'll last.
You need help?
We need the abominations and demons out of this place, if that's what you mean. If you have anything to trade, that would be helpful too.
Alright, let's trade. And of course you can buy all this crap from him, even though he's talking about how little they have. Liberator's mace, eh? Actually, not a bad mace. And a Viridium dagger. Ooh. Higher damage, higher critical chance, much higher armor penetration, but it does not have the +4 attack that the Grey Iron Dagger has, or the perks of the Thorn of the Dead Gods. So I'm not really sure what to... you know what? You can kind of go by the value of an item to determine if it is in fact better than one you have. So you see, where it's comparing the stats, the Viridium Dagger has a sellback value of 18 silver, whereas the enchanted one has 21. So I think the +4 attack is actually better for us. I'm just not really sure how attack as a value really figures into the amount of damage you do as a weapon. Increases the likelihood of successfully landing one. So, that's what it is. Attack is your chance to land a hit. It has no effect on the damage.
I wish this were over. We're running low on supplies, and I don't know how much longer we'll last. If you have anything to trade...
I don't know why I have to go through that every time I want to talk to him. Apart from that, he doesn't really have much. He does have fire arrows. I could start using those a bit more. But not right now. He's got armor, none of which we can reasonably afford. That is an extremely expensive belt. +5 nature damage, +5 spirit damage. Alright. He doesn't really have anything good for us. Alright, now, once we pass through this door, there is no going back. Excuse me. I think my voice cracked a bit there. So, let's call this...
Ours is not so grand.
And there we have it. Ye of little faith.